Nothing says spring like asparagus, and if you don't have it in the spring, we try to move it later in the year. The one I'm going to do today using asparagus is an asparagus pizza, so it's a little bit different take on asparagus, but we're going to keep the pizza mild in flavor so that you can really get the flavor of the asparagus coming through. I've got a pizza crust ready here to go. It is one you can either make your own. If you've got a favorite, a whole grain one would be terrific. This one is just a refrigerated pizza crust though, so if you don't have time, this is a real fast way to go. On top of that, I've cut up some red bell peppers, so that's going to kind of give the appearance or the feel of tomatoes because we're not going to have any tomatoes on this one at all. Remember that this is pizza, so if you see an ingredient that you don't think you're going to like, hopefully it won't be the asparagus, but if you see one you don't think you're going to like, you can either increase it or leave it out, or decrease it or leave it out completely. I'm going to add to that about a half a cup of chopped onion. I'm using a sweet onion today. Simply because they're in season right now, but if you didn't like a sharp onion later on, a red onion would work very well, give you the same kind of effect, and actually would look kind of pretty on here too. So we've got half a cup of chopped onion. I'm going to add now half a cup of black olives. I'm using the traditional black olives that we find in the supermarket here easily in Oklahoma, but if you've got Kalamata olives or other types of olives available to you and you think the flavor would be good, go for it. On top of that, I've got 1 cup of sliced mushrooms. And I am a big mushroom fan, so if it was up to me, we'd probably have about 2 cups of mushrooms, but we are featuring the asparagus today, so we're going to try and keep the mushrooms under control a little bit better. Now for the asparagus. Now the asparagus that we're using is been blanched. I put it in boiling water for 2 minutes, pulled it out of the boiling water, and immediately submerged it in ice water for the same 2 minutes. It's the same process you would go through if you were going to freeze the asparagus. In fact, you could do that with this so that you could have this pizza later on. The trick to this is to make sure you cool it completely. That stops the cooking process. It also make sure that you get a much brighter color coming through than you would otherwise. So we're just going to organize this. It was about 1 pound to start with, so since we snapped off the ends, we're probably down to 12 ounces, 11 ounces, somewhere in that area. Now you can see on the one that I made ahead here that I arranged the asparagus in spirals, which is in a spiral or a pinwheel, which is kind of neat as far as presentation goes. But this method works equally well and is just as simple to serve. All right, this is ready to go. So we have all our asparagus on here. Next thing I'm going to do is add 3 ounces of mozzarella. Now I'm using a part skim mozzarella to reduce the fat content just a little bit. It's a very good flavor as well. Trying not to get it too close to the edges there so that we don't get it burning while with the rest of it browns. And then I've also got 3 ounces of crumbled feta cheese. Now this is going to go in a 425-degree oven for about 12 to 15 minutes. You're going to have to check depending on the pizza crust that you're using and depending on the thickness of the asparagus, on exactly how long it's going to take. But when the crust gets nice and golden and the cheese is melted, it's ready to go. Now what you see here is the finished product. This one is made in the traditional round pizza form, and you could use that as a meal for 4 people. However, you could also cut between those spears and have more of an hors d'oeuvre type pizza, or a pizza to eat while you're watching the game when you're not trying to eat as many calories as you're waiting for the regular meal to come up. I think that even kids are going to like this one. It's got some of their traditional flavors. It's that traditional shape, the traditional word pizza in the title. So you may get some of those green vegetables and even the red vegetables that they normally wouldn't eat by their mouths this time. I hope you'll try this one. It's Asparagus Pizza. For Oklahoma Gardening, this is Barbara Brown.